MultiGreen, building attainable, sustainable, and tech-enabled multifamily real estate through impact investing.
Welcome to the MultiGreen podcast. I'm your host, Randy Norton. Today we'll be speaking with founder of the Global Leaders in Construction Management Initiative at Columbia University and advisor to the World Economic Forum study on the future of construction, and the first MultiGreen advisory board member, Dr. Ibrahim Odeh. With an academic background in all things engineering, construction, and finance, Dr. Odeh is in a unique position to provide fresh perspectives on the future of sustainable engineering and tech-enabled construction. Enjoy our conversation. Ibrahim, thanks for being on the podcast today. How long have you been teaching at Columbia University?
Randy, thank you so much for having me with you. I'm very excited to share my experience in this journey with your vision on what you're trying to do with MultiGreen. To answer your question, I joined Columbia right after I graduated from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign back in 2010. So it's been almost now 10, entering to the 11th year.
You have accomplished so much while at Columbia, and you started a new initiative there called the Global Leaders in Construction Management. What is that?
Global Leaders in Construction Management, or we refer to it for short, GLCM. It's an initiative that mirrors very clearly my teaching philosophy, which is how to bridge between theory and the practice when delivering information to students and rising leaders. So what I did is I put together a proposal where we try to learn outside the classroom and even outside the campus and even outside the country, and travel overseas and learn construction management, the rising trends in engineering and construction from different parts of the world. So that was back, I think, 2011-12. The idea again to try to focus not only on academic accomplishments from our students, but also on their soft skills, which is something I am very passionate about. If you are 4 out of 4 GPA, but you are always in the library, don't get me wrong, you will be successful, you might be successful, I don't know, but what I'm looking for those who have the good highest GPA, but still have a great extracurricular activities to join our program. Then this specific track or initiative, we connect with the industry very well. In what aspect? As I mentioned, bridging between theory and the practice, we speak with several executives from companies who are supporting us, like Turner Construction, Kanska, Turner & Townsend, and many others. We try to select a specific topic that it is very important to our industry to study and try to bring one of their executives or one of their PMs, project managers, to work closely with us and have also meeting with us during this semester or the academic year to give us guidance if that's fit the need for the industry from the practicality perspective or not. And towards the end, the students will be learning a couple of educational components, from one related to what they did from the classes at Columbia. Second, we put them in extensive training for communication skills, and they push their limit to be creative in presenting, creative in team working, creative in building network to interview as many people as they can to understand the nature of that specific study that they are doing. And last but not least, we have a specific project at the end of the year connected with a company, which will help the student a lot to understand how they are making an impact.
I like the initiative a lot, and I hope MultiGreen can work more with you on that initiative.
Absolutely.
As I am aware of your work, Professor Odeh, there is a WEF initiative that shifts a lot of your attention on studying various rising innovations and technologies in the construction and engineering industry. And in fact, you recently wrote a paper on the 8 ways the construction industry will change in the future. In your opinion, what are the top few technologies or innovations that you feel will have the most impact in the coming 10 years?
Great question, Randy. Thank you. So I'll start with a little bit of an history and then jump into the answer to the question.
Perfect.
The World Economic Forum, in short, let's refer to it to WEF. In 2015-16, I got contacted by a colleague of mine at Davos, and he's mentioning he's working very closely in the real estate industry to see what's the future, what the trends that impact the real estate. And then he spoke about what about if we dig deeper into also the construction and infrastructure industry, which is an area that it is very well connected about what we're doing with real estate. It's in a need that we need to understand, we need to study such an area. They created an initiative/project that focused on studying the area of construction and engineering world. When I got contacted, it was myself as well as several of my colleagues. It was a global initiative. I was fortunate enough to propose to them, let's kickstart this, bringing everyone together in one place, maybe before they go all the way to Davos, and have them here at Columbia, in New York, and which we did. And we had the first meeting in person, officially here at our campus. It was a fantastic gathering. We had a lovely, almost a full day interactive activities between all the participants. And when we thought about it as an entire team, we have the critical point to bring not only specific group from practitioners, but we looked at everyone. We looked at academic institutions like myself at Columbia, other colleagues from Cambridge, from Harvard, as well as public agencies and government agencies, and of course the private sector, from the biggest contractors around the world, engineering firms, designers, architects. So we looked at the entire spectrum, the entire environment. Who are the main stakeholders that they are working in this field? Who are the main parties? Along the way, we managed to publish several reports that got very well accepted in our industry. Because again, the opinion did not come from only the team from the World Economic Forum. They did a fantastic job by listening to everyone else that they put in the team, and we reached into a level more than 70 or even 80 individuals that participated in that from different parts of the world, from the Far East all the way to Europe, Middle East, of course the Americas, you name it. These reports managed to highlight a lot of recommendations, but even we started before, of course, the recommendation, we started about giving a very detailed overview about what is our industry, what's the nature of our industry. And then we dig deeper into what are the trends that we are all observing that reshaping the way we do business. And then we came up with the recommendations. And the recommendations, we highlighted three major actors from what public agencies need to do moving forward, what an industry in general collaboratively need to work on moving forward, and what a company as a private sector by company base need to do. And we highlighted tons of best practices that we don't just recommend something that's very theoretical. No, it's something that's been done, practical, it worked, and we just put the spotlight on it. From companies, again, all the companies who were involved, and even companies who were not involved with us in the initiative, we try to address those as well. That's just a quick, I'm sorry, it was a little bit more than a quick history for the web.
No, it's great.
I want to make sure that everyone understands the foundation of what we are building on. After 6 years, several of these reports came, and around that time when we kickstarted this, my passion towards the intersection between people and technology started to rise more and more. And I started to shift my focus within my GLCM group at Columbia to study these technologies. Whatever technology is rising, we keep taking that specific type of technology and dig deeper from what are the benefits of that technology, who are the main players, and I'm very passionate about supporting rising startups also in our industry. So we also look at the entrepreneurial mindset and the entrepreneurial environment within that specific technology. Some of these technologies, I highly believe, still need to come from those minds, from entrepreneurs that in the East Coast, all the way to the West Coast and Silicon Valley, all the way from outside the US as well. And some other technologies and innovations need to come from an existing major GCs or engineering firms, but they need to have the right leadership for that. And other technologies need to have both combinations. And I believe the third one, we have to focus more on that, to support the entrepreneurial mindsets and to educate and open doors, find the right ways to help our current leaders to rethink culture within their companies. Now to the specific point of the question, some of the technologies that I looked at are construction robotics. And just recently, I finished to study 25 examples of construction robotics we have in our industry that I feel they are promising, and that from extensive literature, studies, interviews, following companies, startups as well. So this is one main point I am following. Another one I highly believe in is 3D printing. 3D printing, we started around 5 or 6 years ago mentioning that it is in the infancy stage. I still believe it is kind of the infancy stage, but exiting that status. And it is very interesting to see more and more companies from big corporations to startups entering into that area. And the usability of the 3D printing, it is just out of this world.
Just last week, I had a 4 a.m. call, I think, with South Korea, where you referred the 3D printer from the Hyundai subsidiary, and we're exploring 3D printing now in some of the future MultiGreen properties.
That's a great news to hear. I joined that specific company that supported by Hyundai Construction South Korea. It's called Big Sun. Big Sun had two major initiatives. One on Black Buffalo of how to utilize and expedite the use of 3D printing, and the other one in smart labs and that second initiative to focus on the Internet of Things and the use of blockchain in smart cities, which is, I found it fascinating, to be honest. So I'm happy that there is a more move into that area, and I'm glad to hear, Randy.
Well, thank you for the recommendation.
Absolutely. To add to that and connect to the Internet of Things, when I think about the Internet of Things, which is now a third example I'm going to give in the rising technologies, I think about AI and ML, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning, which is also an area that a couple of my students looked at and see how is the usability of artificial intelligence in our industry. Around 5 years ago, I got asked to sit on an advisory board for a rising startup. It was just like an idea. It was not even a startup. It is based in Silicon Valley. And my colleague, he had developed an AI algorithm to turn construction cameras into smart cameras on site, which I found it fascinating. And it was just himself and another colleague of his, the co-founder. 5 or now 6 years later, the company, they have I think 35 or 40 people working in it. They have projects all over the US. As a matter of fact, I think they have another 3 or 4 projects in Far East. And there is a lot of good money to support their journey. That specific company, I like it as an example of how to utilize literally AI in construction, because we talk about it, but I don't see it so far. So I start to see more and more usability of the AI in construction, which lead me to something, an area also I'm passionate of, which is the utilization of data. How we can use data to the best possible way to benefit from and support our construction industry engineer and the engineering field. Randy, we as construction field or industry in general, we are really doing bad in productivity. Everyone's talking about it in the industry, from GCs, from engineering firms, from strategic management consulting firms, doing tons of studies. One area to utilize is how we can benefit from the data and the foundation and the principle of the AI and ML to benefit ourselves when we keep building and we keep delivering projects. Which leads me to another fourth area based on that it is a little bit not connected to the data, is modular construction. Listen, I hope, first of all, that everyone around us, everyone can hear us, are safe and sound during this crazy time that we are going through. But if someone asks me, so during the pandemic, do you see something coming maybe positive? I say the only thing can come to mind is how the pandemic, I see it a little bit kind of expediting digital transformation in our industry. Because the digital transformation in construction is being lagging behind many industries. In matter of fact, it is the second from last from all our industries that we're studying.
Why is that the case? Why is the construction industry so far behind? I mean, construction hasn't changed much over the last 100 years.
That's a very good question. It will be connected to the construction environment. If you think about our industry, we highlighted a couple of characteristics we have, such as it's so fragmented. The construction market is like, a matter of fact, if we look here in the US alone, we have around more than 800,000 engineering and construction firms. Only 2% of these firms has more than 100 workers. Only 2%. And around 80% of these firms has less than 10 workers. Speaking of fragmentation. Not only that, let's look at profitability. We have profitability of what? 1 to 2%. If you want to go global, maybe you will jump up to 5%, but still, it is really low. It's a very cyclical market. The workforce, we have a challenge in the workforce. We have an aging in the workforce. In around 30 or 40 years ago, the average age of a worker was around 34 years old. And now the average age of a worker is more than 45. And they keep retiring. We still prefer, another point, we still prefer the lowest bid approach of design, bid, build. I'm happy to see more design, build, and a little bit of the IPD, integrated project deliveries, coming more and more in our industry. But still, we prefer lowest bid. We have we have insufficient and incremental funding problem in the industry. We also have more complexity in contracts. Around 3 decades ago, a typical contract of 50 pages now easily goes above 1,000 pages. And I can go over and over and over for many of these characteristics that can contribute to why construction productivity is really bad. So if I connect that then to the modularization, I'm a big fan of that, because I feel pandemic a little bit expediting the digital transformation in a way that everyone starts to think, so how we can move forward with the social distancing, with more safe environment in the construction. And we started to ask, okay, how can modularization impact that way? And I'm a big fan about the move on this, and the main company that I keep thinking about is Broad Group in China, what they did. And I believe most of us now, they saw that wonderful video that they put together of building, 57-story building in only 19 days. And there is another 30-story tower or a hotel in only 15 days.
Wow.
And many other projects like these things. They moved around 90% of the construction work to the factory. So this is one example. Another example, I am very close to Skanska in Sweden. And I really like what they did by collaborating Skanska with IKEA to build a sustainable, quality, low-cost home ownership. And they put that with initiative or another company name. I don't know if I pronounced it correct. It's called, I think, Boklok. Boklok. So I hope I pronounced it correctly. Listen, the first Boklok home was completed in 1997. That's far. And now they have more than 11,000 homes throughout Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Norway. They built in that philosophy or that idea. So that's another technology. If I want to be very brief for the sake of the time, I believe also in the area of drones rising a lot. VR and AR, virtual reality and augmented reality, and the usability of AR and VR in all phases of the life cycle of a project. And last but not least, I like the area which recently I finished a study in, focusing on digital twinning. What's digital twinning and how to build more on the building information modeling and take it a step further. It was a little bit more detailed answer, sorry, Randy, but you can tell my passion in this area.
No, it's wonderful. Because of your inspiration and our experience in data centers, we've been using the BIM model for a very long time, and I think we will be one of the first in the multifamily industry to really require digital twinning.
Amazing.
Right now, I'm holding in my hand a black, beautiful book called Construction 4.0, an innovation platform for the built environment. Can you tell me what Construction 4.0 is and your involvement with this book?
Yes, that's a very good question. In matter of fact, a colleague of mine reached out to me related this specific initiative. Very great visionary individual, close friend. He said, I'm trying to put together a group of professors/practitioners from all over the US and outside to come up with a good publication where every 2 to 3 faculty working on one chapter to highlight the image of what is Construction 4.0, what is construction industry trend moving to, especially with the rise of the fourth industrial revolution. And this is kind of the quick history of this specific product or book. Personally speaking, as I mentioned with the World Economic Forum and now with the Construction 4.0, and even in another initiative I put here at Columbia on my classes online, I believe in the collaborative effort to come together about highlighting every one area of value and passion and integrate them all in one product and have it available for the industry. So that's something when I got contacted by one of the editors of the book and asked me, what about if me and you can put together a chapter? I was fascinated about the idea, and that's why I participated. So I hope that give you good history and details about that. And I'm looking forward for the reviews from the readers to tell us what they think about that book.
Well, my review is coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to remind you that you were our very first advisory board member, officially. What are you most excited about in regards to MultiGreen? One
thing, leadership. Randy, not because you are within that part. I'm trying to speak the fact here. I really, really like the philosophy behind how MultiGreen came together. Not only that, and what they want to accomplish is a wonderful goal, what they're trying to accomplish from building 40,000 attainable multifamily homes. The area comes with the affordable housing as well. It keeps rising more and more globally, all around the world. So this is one. And when I highlighted the area of the leadership, let me give you an example. When you hear about a culture that finally is trying to support innovation and technology, and I connect this with the construction productivity issue or problem that we are facing, as I mentioned in the beginning, that's a recipe for a good story to tell. If the leadership will keep supporting research and development, supporting innovation implementation, technology implementation in their projects, I believe that all the rising young leaders that are coming from universities now, they will start to see construction field in a way different level and from a way different angle. So I'm happy that MultiGreen is trying to give an example, and I believe the move, and if they keep moving with this journey, the next 5 to 10 years, it will be a wonderful case study for other companies from whatever they are in the construction industry supply chain. So that's my humble opinion.
Well, thank you for that response. I want to be respectful of your time and our listeners' time. We will ask these final 2 questions that we ask all of our interviewees, and that is this. In the spirit of MultiGreen, I want you to find your color green. And in finding green, what are a few of your favorite green things?
Again, as I mentioned at the beginning, I like the area where we connect people with technology. The intersection of people and technology is a theme that I am highlighting in the last 15 months now. So to answer your question, I am very fascinated to see how we as scientists, as engineers, came up with technology to harvest energy and power and utilize the renewable energies all around us. So that area is fascinating in a way for me when I think about the green and the sustainability in general. I recently just bought a house, and all what I can think of is, oh yeah, this light bulb, oh wow, it only consumes this much energy. Oh wow, that will be fantastic to the environment. Oh, this wood, if you want to put it in the fireplace, is going to be less to the environment. What about if we can put gas instead of wood? Oh, these kind of questions start to make me think, which make it fascinating. Now, this is now not the complete answer. The complete answer for me to your question is the following. When I see my 7-year-old daughter come to me and start to talk about the environment and start to say this will be hurting the environment and this will not, that was the main thing that opened my eyes about the coming generation and what's green mean to me as Generation X and to my young one that will be living in this world after us. That was really interesting. I can't remember when I was 7 years old to go to my parents and tell them that question. So that's, I hope, answered the question.
Yes, that was a great response. Thank you. So here's my last question for you today. It is now 2020, and MultiGreen is at the end of the very first year of operations. And as you know, we publicly launched from Davos, Switzerland at the 50th World Economic Forum. And we announced that MultiGreen would improve the state of the world by constructing 40,000 attainable, sustainable, and tech-enabled multifamily homes. If you had one wish for MultiGreen, what would it be?
Data. If you can utilize and harvest and put the best possible use of the data collected during this journey, to give as an example and best practices and highlight all the lessons learned that coming from this data to others all around us in the industry, that I really wish and hope that MultiGreen will take it very seriously. How to utilize data and take it to a next level.
Well, I'm going to make your wish come true. I'll do everything I can to do that. Thank you very much for that response.
Absolutely, Randy. It's been a fantastic journey for MultiGreen. I am personally following, as you remember, for the last couple of years when it was only an idea, but with the right leadership. Again, I'm not sweet talking. It's just like a fact, and I am looking forward for everyone to see these facts for the coming, not years, the coming months. They will be really impressed about what MultiGreen is putting together moving forward.
Well, thank you very much for your time this morning, and I look forward to doing this again in the near future.
Absolutely, Randy. Looking forward to catch up, hopefully in the near future, in person.
Absolutely.
Thank you for listening. Join us as we build 40,000 attainable, sustainable, and tech-enabled multifamily homes by 2030. And if you like the content you're hearing, hit the subscribe button. Follow us at Think MultiGreen and sign up to learn more at www.multi.green.